Chapter 7 in the book Media Ethics at Work is titled Identifying Suspects, the Case of the Waco Shooting. This chapter reviews the specific incident of the Waco shooting. This incident occurred when there was a gathering of motorcyclists who were in town for a meeting of a statewide biker coalition. There were two rival motorcycle gangs, the Banditos and the Cossacks, attending the meeting, and everyone knew that there was a possibility of a renewal of a turf war between those two gangs. When they both arrived, there was no trouble until a Bandito's motorcycle rolled over the foot of a Cossack while they argued over parking space. After that, both sides got into physical fights, and they brought out knives, chains, and guns. When the gunfire broke out, the police shot into the crowd. In the end, the dispute ended with 9 people dead, 20 wounded, and 177 bikers were arrested. This chapter focuses on the challenge that the reporters faced on whether or not to release the names of the deceased before the police department officially released them. A reporter named Janet Wheeler worked at a local Waco news station that covered the story of the Waco shooting. The police department did not release the names of the 9 people that died until about 3 or 4 days after the shooting. However, one of the other local news stations during the Waco shooting got the names of the deceased from a local justice of the peace who released preliminary autopsy reports. The newsroom that Wheeler worked at wanted to release the names as soon as the first station did. Wheeler and a few others in the newsroom thought they should wait until the police department officially released the names. However, the majority ruled, and they reported the names according to what the Justice of the Peace had stated. The issues with releasing these names to the public as early as these 2 newsrooms did include, 1, if the police had not yet been able to find or notify the families of the deceased, then these families might have heard of their loved one's death from the news. And 2, if any of the names had been wrong and the news station put out false information, they would probably lose some of their credibility with their viewers. Some of the things to consider and questions to think about when facing similar situations might include: who could get hurt if you tell the story? Does the benefit of the public knowing the truth outweigh the possible harm? And what does the public need to know? In the Thinking It Through section of this chapter, there is an interesting question about how important it is to beat the competition. How crucial is it to be the first one to release the information to the public? In my opinion, it's important to get the information out in a timely manner, but not at the risk or the sake of harming others in the process. After the reading from this week, I've learned how important it is to try to put yourself in other people's shoes and imagine all of the lives you might affect when releasing information to the public. It is also important to take time to discuss a big decision before taking action, just in case you're not thinking clearly or you have not considered everything at stake.